Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Oh, Jesus! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
This is episode 98. I am joined by the one, the only, the legendary, the Denver Bronco fan, Tommy Smith in the house. Tommy, how you doing today?
Dude, I got a nice little intro right there. I like it. I felt like I'm, sitting on Stone Cold's podcast or something. Man, I'm doing
weeks,
great.
Not too long.
Yeah, really. I do got to point out though how ridiculous you look in that Washington Commanders stuff. I'm sorry,
Commanders,
man.
baby. It's gonna be a good season.
You have got to be the biggest jump around fan I've met in a long time. No offense, but I thought you were a Jets fan last year.
I haven't watched a Jets game in 5 to 10 years. They've given me nothing to watch. I watch fantasy football.
That's fair, and I will give you credit for as much as I've seen you post about them and stuff. You went full in. You bought the jersey, you bought the hat. I can celebrate that.
When I make a jump, and it's for good.
That's why you just you pick your team and you stick with it.
Absolutely.
Let's ride Broncos country.
For those of you guys that are watching, the Denver Broncos shirt you wear, Tommy, looks pretty sharp there.
Hey, thank you, man.
I've had it for the dark gray with the white lettering sticking out and a little bit of the orange. Not bad.
I've had it for a while. It's been back on Sunday Night Football tomorrow night, so it'll be a good one. It's been an interesting start to the season so far, but I still 1-1. 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah, they lost to Seattle week 1, and then they beat I feel like Houston last week. Yep. And
that's
they play
heads again. Yeah.
Yeah, and they play at home against San Francisco tomorrow. So
that will be interesting. We'll see how San Francisco's looking.
I think they're getting Kittle
out over there.
I think they're getting Kittle back, but without Trey Lance, it'll be interesting to see Jimmy G playing there. But I'm in football mode. I'm in the season and I'm excited and everything. But
you're also in baseball playoff.
I'm still in baseball mode, dude. I whenever I get, I was watching last night. Whenever I get the chance to watch the Rays, it's a good time. And with only 2 weeks remaining, let me tell you, dude, that Extreme Rules week, and I know we're a wrestling podcast, but for me as a sports fan, Thursday of Extreme Rules weekend, we got the Broncos taking on the Colts. Of course, I'm from Indy, so I'm going to be public enemy number 1. Friday is the start of the wild card playoffs, so the Rays will be playing at some point. And then Saturday, you got Extreme Rules, so it's going to be a good weekend, man.
That's going to be good. And how about a little bit off sport topic, but just before we went on to this recording, I saw Aaron Judge's 7th inning at bat, and he struck out.
Oh, I was thought you were gonna.
That God, he cannot listen.
That dude against the Red Sox.
He cannot tie Roger Maris's record against the Red Sox. That just cannot happen.
That would be pretty funny.
Absolutely.
However,
why are these pitchers pitching to him? Just walk him every time. I
will say it's hilarious how the MLB has tried so hard to put his 61st home run on national TV. Last night they were on Apple TV. Today they're on MLB Network. I bet they'll be on. What do you guys play again tomorrow? You guys gonna be on Sunday Night Baseball or something?
Is it Sunday Night Baseball? I don't even know anymore. I haven't been. I haven't looked at the Red Sox in 3 weeks.
I can't tell you, but I fell asleep pretty quickly after the Rays game last night, and I got a text from my older brother, and he just goes, "Dude, Pujols did it," and man,
I'm so happy for him.
I'm not. It's not like I don't respect Aaron Judge. Obviously, we're both not Yankees fans, so I don't really care. But I can obviously appreciate the season that he's had, and I think that it is a big deal. But 61 homers, which you could argue is the record or not, versus joining a list of 3 other people on 700 career homers is just
Yes.
phenomenal. I mean, and that's the thing is I've been watching Pujols since I was a kid. So it was a cool sports moment to watch last night.
Yeah, that was great. I mean,
And it'll be a cool moment when Judge does it too, of course.
I'm more obviously invested in Pujols getting that 700. Like I was like kind of hoping. I wasn't too sure if he was going to do it or not. But then he got hot in August, and then hot this month too as well. Like it just, not like it was a big question mark up in the air, and we still have about another week left.
I was talking to my older brother, and it was just like, man, you remember when the All-Star game and Commissioner Selig said like, hey, we're gonna have these special spots for I think it was Miggy and Pujols, and everybody was kind of like upset about it, and then Pujols was in the home run derby, and people were upset about that too. It's just like that, like, mostly the home run derby kind of like has been known to like kill your swing, and the second half you have less homers. He's turned it on, man. I mean, he's had one of the highest OPSs, I think, since the All-Star break. Like he's in very limited at bats, but he's been coming in through, with tie game 0-0, seventh inning homers, 2 home runs last night, clutch homers in the ninth and stuff. He's been playing really well recently, and it's hey man, I'm not saying anything, but the Cardinals, those teams that they just got to get hot at the right time, and if Pujols can stay hot when they make the playoffs, like it's not a team you want to be seeing in the NL side.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I still have the Mets or the Dodgers as the favorites to get in the World Series.
Correct.
But it's definitely not.
Can't count out Atlanta either, man. They're defending
champs. Count them out. It's definitely not a shoo-in. I can't tell you that right now. The Mets and Dodgers are the favorites, but Atlanta and St. Louis can easily spoil that.
I think the NL has more teams that you could actually see make it to the World Series than the AL. I think if you look at it right now, I think obviously Houston,
Houston's like my solid favorite.
Gonna
but
be
now
up there.
The concern is the Yankees are starting to get a little warm. They're warming up again, but they had a sketchy 2 months. So I'm still not expecting Yankees to make the World Series, but to the ALCS.
Yeah, and I mean Toronto's got talent. Their pitching can be a little suspect sometimes. Obviously, I'm a homer, but Tampa Bay is a very solid team, and then. I would say Seattle, but they just lost Julio Rodriguez on the 10-day IL. So it'll be the playoffs will be very good. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It's only 2 weeks away from, I think it was 2 weeks from yesterday. So yeah, man, it's like the perfect time to be a sports fan because it just seems like everything's going on. Basketball comes back next month. Like it's a good time. And wrestling has been phenomenal. I mean, we've been talking about other stuff.
Wrestling's been on fire. Man. There's really nothing boring about wrestling this year, to be honest with you. I mean, just leading up to this point, it's just been news report after news report all year long. And
the amount of big things that have happened this year is insane.
And we see WWE's been booking better shows. People are complaining about last Monday night. But I'm like, whatever. It's AEW this week, so people are probably going to be more prone to watch that, and people are going to be comparing the 2 shows or whatever. But WWE, they know when to book solid shows and when not to. The WWE's been around for such a long time now. This was kind of like the week, probably not to go all in, but yeah.
I do got to say it is kind of impressive. Yeah, with Extreme Rules coming up, but. We were talking about football, and the football season's going on, and obviously,
week
Monday night
already, just like that.
Yeah, and it's like Monday Night Football is just getting started, but WWE's still been putting up pretty solid numbers in the first 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure they're still topping. Maybe they might not have last week with the doubleheader of Monday Night Football games, but I'm pretty sure they topped 2 million, week 1. So. I mean, they're putting up good numbers and they're putting up solid shows too. And I think AEW kind of, with the last few weeks has been a little in the negative side of the news, but they put on a really, really good Grand Slam. And I think, again, I mean, we've talked about it every time we hop on here, just the aura and, the kind of water cooler talk, just kind of feeling that wrestling has again. It's not like fully there to the, late 90s and everything, but you're seeing a little bit more, wrestling T-shirts, and more people, getting accustomed to it, and we're getting guys like Action Bronson, bringing in the cross platform with the rap game and everything. Like it's a really good time to be a wrestling fan. But yeah, man, Extreme Rules 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks already, and you could. I'm also liking the fact that WWE is also subtly incorporating long-term booking. I mean,
Yes.
they already booked a match for Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, which is Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. Let me tell you something. Fans have a lot to complain about this. Like, they just gotta calm down, enjoy the ride, because one, we haven't seen Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. This is only Logan Paul's third match,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be a fresh matchup. They're gonna kill it. And
Yeah.
this might be a trial run to see if Logan Paul really belongs in that main event picture. So, kind of like what happened a couple weeks ago, you threw the Acclaimed in against Swerve Our Glory at All Out, and you didn't really know if they belonged there or not. That was very debatable. But then after watching that match and how
Yeah, and they put on the
much the
best
crowd
match
was
of the
into it,
weekend.
one of the best matches of the weekend, and then you realize, like, wow, the Acclaim just leveled up right in front of our eyes.
Correct.
So this could be something similar with Logan Paul. Like, people don't think he should be there. People always complaining, we want to see the same, like we see the same stuff all the time. Well, this is something different. So
Yeah.
take it, enjoy it. Let's see what happens. Like, this might turn into something bigger than we think it's going to be.
And I'll admit, I was one of those people who was like, that match just doesn't sound interesting. But then I thought about it, and like you said, it's a fresh matchup. I won't. Again, we don't know fully to the extent of what Logan Paul can do, but I think The Miz is one of the better barometers in the entire, kind of country wrestling world of, you could put on a good match with him, you're pretty good, because I think The Miz is underrated severely. But I mean, I like you said, I think they'll kill it. But also, one of the things I realize is, look, like these Crown Jewels, Super Showdown, like all these extra shows that they do overseas and like Saudi Arabia and stuff, we're meant to see dumb matches, like just ridiculous matches that we haven't seen. Undertaker Goldberg, the Kuwait Cup tournament that they did, just a bunch of stuff that's kind of not.
Don't forget Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins.
Correct. Yeah. But they've been known to have. I mean, come on, we just had a random, for the first time in what years? The last year they had the Hell in a Cell match for the first time that wasn't on, like the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Like I've come to understand those shows is just a giant. They try to have a 4-hour WrestleMania with just a bunch of stipulations, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm not.
Well, the Crown Jewel is
match.
kind of like basically a house show with WrestleMania pomp and circumstance.
Correct. Yep.
But
last year it delivered. It did deliver last year, I will say.
It was a little better last year. But I think that changes going forward. That like every show is going to be meaningful, even if it's not one of the major 4 or 5. Every show is going to be more meaningful. Like they already announced Survivor Series, a war game.
God!
I am excited for that.
Game.
I'm excited. So here's the kicker. I have my tickets for it. But everything's just so up in the air with work right now.
Yeah,
that can change. So like I got people asking me, "Oh, let's go." I'm like, I don't know what's happening that weekend. I don't even know when I'm coming home. I'm on vacation too.
What day is it? Do you know?
It's a Saturday night, and Saturday night is part of Black
day, like
November 26th.
Okay, so I'm going to the
part
SmackDown
of Black Friday weekend.
Oh yes, I'm going to the SmackDown 2 weeks before. It's
nice.
It's an indie. But yeah, dude, but that's the thing is like, I mean, we're 2 months out from this pay-per-view. We knew Triple H would probably be bringing more games, and
it's not gonna be red versus blue. Thank God.
Yes, but it's like we're 2 months out, and I mean, you could see the excitement right from both of our faces when you said, "Oh, it's war games." Like this is what we wanted for so long as wrestling fans, and it's like honestly for probably
meaningful show, something fresh.
honestly since probably April. But even if you count in AEW and just how fresh they've been over the last 2-3 years, like honestly, since we started this podcast, it just seems like wrestling has kind of been on the upswing. So maybe we're the catalyst for that. But you know,
No doubt about
I've passed.
We jumped in at the right time.
Exactly,
man.
We're only an episode away, and this is 98. So
Tommy, I gotta bring something up to you.
Oh boy,
our WWE and AEW fans Facebook group.
Yes.
Just hit 1,000 followers.
Hey, look at that! Right in time for. I was just about to get into how we were doing 100 episodes here in like 2 weeks.
Just hit 1,000 followers, so that's pretty awesome. And,
man.
Organically hit 1,000 followers. So,
and that's
awesome
it's great that we get to do this podcast, but it's great just to have that group where people. I mean, every day there's somebody sharing news or their opinion on something or videos and stuff like that's. It's cool to be in your own little kind of like cliche, not cliche. How do I put it? Your own like kind of niche thing. Like we're all wrestling fans, and we get to share that passion. So, heck yeah, man! 1,000 followers. That's 998 more people other than us too.
And pretty soon the YouTube videos will be YouTube subscribers will be there too. Message from Dave: the Hook Bros have arrived.
I know. I keep messing with my hat because I've been growing my hair. I don't think this is probably the longest I've grown it out since I was a kid. So
I'm at my longest
like 3
since
months
I
now.
cut my hair for the first time during the pandemic. The barbershops are closed for like 3 months.
You've been waiting. Yeah.
So, I'm at my longest. I got my sides going. I got my sides are short, but it's longer on top, so I'm purposely doing that. So not today because I don't feel like taking my headphones off and my hat off, but maybe eventually I'll reveal that. Hook Bros have arrived. David Smith, thank you so much for always following us. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
So let's talk AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. We saw title changes. Chris Jericho, the new ROH champion.
Yeah, man.
A new champion, John Moxley, which we'll have to talk about too as well. The return of Paige, aka now called Saraya. So a couple of things happened. A great tag team match. And then we had a match that didn't even really belong on the card because the event ran out of time. But we're going to talk about all that. But the crowd was hot. I was actually thinking about going, but I'm like, you know what? There's so many events that I need to get to. Like, we got Survivor Series pending. And if that plan stays the way it is, then we're going to go to Boston Celtics game the next night.
Yeah.
Before we head home. Yeah. Boston Celtics are in the same arena the next night. And
they're also in the news, but we won't talk about that.
And there's stuff next year that I want to do. So I can't make every single event, but Extreme Rules is actually kind of tempting. I'm not gonna lie.
Where's
October 9th in Philadelphia?
Philly. Okay, I forgot which one.
Really tempting. Like that might be like a last second ticket.
I don't blame you, man.
We'll see. So
especially how the card turns out. I mean, we're getting a strap match.
And I'm not going to spend a lot for that event either. Like, I'm going to get the cheapest ticket possible. We're getting a strap match. I didn't even watch SmackDown yet, and I'm gonna. But I saw through the news, we're getting a strap match coming up. And then we got Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
And then what else was there? There's 3 matches signed so far. For that match, I have it up right here. Riddle versus Rollins.
Rollins. That's what I was thinking.
So that should be the end of that.
Hell in a Cell. Give me more Hell in a Cell.
That would be interesting. So we'll see. Typically, cage matches are meant to end feuds. So I think that Rollins versus Riddle could be the way to end that feud eventually. So maybe somehow they get plugged into the War Games match.
I would be okay
but
with that.
I really think I have a feeling it's going to be Bloodline, all Bloodline versus whoever.
Yeah,
whoever they're all feuding with at the time.
It'll be
because that's what Triple H does. He's done the War Games matches with the factions. Like I've noticed that, like with the Undisputed Era. against a couple years in a row. Got into the War Games main event against various different wrestlers that happened to have been feuding with them at the time.
I'd like to see them do the turn on Sammy by then, and then have Sammy and Kevin team up with two other people. Because you got to have Roman on Survivor Series, right? Like, if he's not in a championship match, there's no way he's not in the War Games match. Like there's no way he misses this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, if they go 4-on-4 in War Games,
Solo,
work out
Usos and Roman, and then you could have Kevin, Sammy, I don't know, Drew, and I can't think of anybody else. I don't know. So they could throw somebody in there, like the Street Profits. I don't know if they'd get that rub, but there's a way to build to that. So, but yeah, you're talking about Grand Slam, dude.
Okay, so this is pretty interesting. We got Corey. How you doing, man? So Judgment Day versus the Bloodline. That is interesting.
Yeah, but who's the fourth person for Judgment Day?
Keep an eye out, because on Raw, with Finn Balor approaching AJ Styles.
Yeah, but who's the fourth person
going there?
You think it would be AJ?
No, okay. So if so here we go. This is pretty interesting. So AJ was confronted by Finn Balor on Raw, and they're just going back at it. They didn't get into a brawl or anything, but they're just going. Finn Balor is reminiscing how he's always been there for AJ, regardless of whatever was going on. But anyhow, I found that kind of interesting, because if you have, you can have Priest, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and AJ Styles. But then,
interesting.
Now the harder part is, how do you get there? How do you get the Bloodline to cross paths with Judgment Day? How do we get there?
Yeah, so but that would still kind of feel like that Raw SmackDown feeling, and I don't want that. I don't want red versus blue. I get
it could make like unless Judgment Day starts showing up subtly here and there with random matches on SmackDown.
You could really make them
maybe
easy, kind of be like the Justice Seekers of the WWE or something, like where they're on both shows or something. I don't know. There is a way you can do that.
So that's interesting. So it's just like, so the challenging part to me, my opinion, would be one, getting that fourth member. And maybe if AJ doesn't really necessarily join, but maybe just kind of like a one-time thing, like Kevin Owens did a couple years ago on NXT War Games. But so how do we get there, and then how do we get the two to cross paths without, like you said, we're kind of like avoiding that red versus blue kind of thing. Like maybe you just subtly get some Judgment Day to have random matches on SmackDown, kind of like Brawl and Brutes randomly showing up on Raw the other night.
That's true.
Yeah. So that's interesting, Corey.
They're so good.
I mean, listen, it could happen one day. I think I saw something like Judgment Day, or somebody posting wanting Judgment Day versus Bloodline, or maybe somebody from Judgment Day said they wanted a member from Bloodline. I don't know. I would
love to see like Imperium and like Gunther and Sheamus kind of like have a mutual respect kind of connection, and then they team up. That would be that could sell it for me.
And that would work out really well,
because they are fighting on the 7th, the season premiere of SmackDown. They already have a match for the Intercontinental Championship, I think, announced. Oh, you didn't watch? I need to stop talking about SmackDown. They announced that last night, but I guess it's not a huge spoiler.
I'm not surprised.
You figure they would have wrestled at Extreme Rules anyway, or something.
Yeah. So I'm still kind of for now. I'm still kind of leaning more towards Kevin, Sammy, and possibly Drew, and then maybe one other guy against Bloodline. That would probably be your match.
That kind of comes off, as weird as it is, but that could come off as like the, you remember when the Shield used to fight just like 3 random dudes? It would be like Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback, or like Sheamus, Big Show, and Orton or something. Like that. That's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a match with, as they call, strange bedfellows, but like,
Yeah.
It'll be the excitement is building. I mean, that's the good thing is we're excited for it.
Yeah, because not only are they just building to Extreme Rules, but they're building to other things. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, moving on. So let's get to Dynamite really quick, and basically that's all the news I got. I think there was something else I wanted to bring up, but if I do, I'll interrupt ourselves. But we had AEW starting off very hot. The fans were very hot for this. Jericho in this match with Claudio. And who would have ever thought Jericho would be a Ring of Honor champion defeating Claudio?
Yeah, tell me
Who
that
would
5
have
years
ever
ago.
thought that? The Ocho, he is now known as the Ocho, and his shirt's out for it now. So how you feeling about Jericho's win? I thought it was a pretty good match. We saw Claudio almost run into Aubrey Edwards, and then she had her back turned because she thought Claudio was gonna crash into her, and then from behind, Jericho gives Claudio the low blow, which Aubrey Edwards does not see, and then Jericho immediately hits Claudio with the Judas effect, getting the 1-2-3 new Ring of Honor champion. How did you feel about this match?
Yeah, man, good match. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan of the result, but I think it's more because AEW is trying to get Ring of Honor a TV deal or some kind of weekly show deal. So giving Jericho the championship, and again, just kind of like how they did it when they started the company. I mean, it was Hangman and Jericho, and everybody kind of really wanted Hangman to win, but Jericho ended up doing it because he was a good guy that you could kind of instantly add credibility to your promotion. So I think that's the same thing here. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it, just because they don't have a weekly show right now. But yeah, man, I think Jericho just constantly just keeps reinventing himself, and I think it's incredible how well he's doing. So yeah, man, I enjoyed this one.
Do you put Jericho in your Mount Rushmore?
100%, 100%.
Yeah,
without even question. And maybe that's biased because
it's just
I
hard
grew up with
sometimes
him.
because you got Steve Austin, The Rock, Hogan, Undertaker, but as far as longevity goes, I got Shawn Michaels, Taker, and Jericho right there as the top three. And one other guy.
I'd probably have Austin. My 4, if I just had to think, just from the people, and it's based on mostly who I saw. Probably be Jericho, Rock, Jericho, Austin, Cena, and Punk. Maybe just because I'm biased, but
God.
Hey, I'm a CM Punk homer. I'm not gonna go against it.
I don't know if you see this. For those of you guys that are watching, I got my Jericho right there, autographed picture there. There we go, right there. Back from 1999.
Jeez,
yeah,
only a year after I was born. Make me feel, but hey, that's a great statement on going with the longevity of Jericho. I mean, he's been going since he debuted that year. So
yeah,
I'm 24.
I remember seeing. I've been watching Jericho wrestle since '95 when he was in WCW. It was the Lion.
Yeah, and that's just.
I didn't see his ECW stuff. I discovered him when he first came into WCW, but then I read about him in
27 years. 27 years of being, I mean, obviously he took some time off for Fozzy, but 27 years of being on.
He took time off, not a lot.
One of the top 2 wrestling companies the entire time. I mean, that's just, and new characters, constant championships. It's incredible how amazing and how well he's been able to reinvent himself all the time.
That's been great. Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed for the Tag Team Championship. We talked about it earlier in the show, but the Acclaimed proved Caesar beats Tommy. The Acclaimed proved
I love it. I love the Acclaimed. Everybody loves the Acclaimed.
That after All Out, they were white hot. They had a stellar match at All Out in a pay-per-view. People say that they should have won and that maybe won, and then maybe it was a bad call that they didn't win it All Out. But not for nothing, I don't think AEW really realized how over these guys were until this match finished. And then after that, I believe AEW called an audible and be like, these guys are white hot. They tore the house down. They showed that they belonged. And that's why they got this match. The fans wanted it. And
but it wasn't as good. It was good.
This time around wasn't as good as the first one.
I compare this match to kind of like what I guess I'm looking at it from the potential pop, like kind of what Drew versus Roman could have been. You make that change, and the pop right there is incredible. So I am glad the Acclaim got it, but I think that winning it all out could have been the better choice. But yeah, man, this match was good. Just it's kind of hard to live up to what they did at
all out. Like I didn't think the Acclaim was ready just yet, but they proved to me after the match that they were ready and that they belonged. I'm like, because I even told my buddy that I was watching with, I'm like, man, the Acclaimed just leveled up after tonight. So they had to. But now there's the problem of they go backstage. Cass Wheeler says that all 4 guys killed it and congratulates the Acclaims before saying they've been the number 1 contenders since April, FTR says, and they would like their shot now. But then interrupting them is the Ass Boys. They roll up to make fun of them, and we go and then they go to break after that. So FTR is going to go against the Guns, and so it'll be a little bit of a distraction feud. I say get the belts on FTR, and
you can't take it off the
Revolution
that quick.
Revolution.
That's tough, dude. They're too over
because you have a good. Of course, they're definitely over, but you're going to give them about 4 or 5 months of a solid run. But for their first run, yeah, I mean, FTR should have gotten their title shot actually a long time ago, but now
that's fair.
How do you fit that in? But they are the tag team championships of 3 different wrestling organizations, so
yeah, they got 7 belts or whatever. It's insane.
AEW's really just got to build the Acclaim up from here, because we'll see what happens now. So we'll get to this in a second. The wrestling show ran out of time. Clearly ran out of time at the end. That was too obvious. But there is a couple things that I feel like AEW Grandslam Dynamite was a little bit overbooked. They tried to jam too much in that 2 hours when they could have given the matches a little bit more time and a little bit more breathing room for each match. 4 title matches, you could have done 20 to 25 minutes a match. But anyhow, you had Orange Cassidy versus Pac for the Atlantic Championship. I don't think this should have been there, in my opinion, for that night with the amount of time that they were allotted for how hot and how special the show is supposed to be. But Pac hits Orange with the Timekeeper hammer. You notice that everything was all like cheating, mostly.
I did notice that. Yeah, there's always got to be interference.
It was a lot of chicanery, a lot of cheating went on.
Ooh, I like that chicanery.
But Pac hits Orange with the Timekeeper hammer, and then Orange Cassidy's knocked out, and then Pac hits Orange with his full press slam, Red Arrow, whatever you want to call it.
Hey man, what is this with Pac, or not Pac, with Orange, man? He is now 0-8 in his championship matches. What's the point of that? What is the point of him being, he's one of the better ones? And this is coming from an Orange Cassidy fan, like. Why is he not won yet? He keeps looking like a dunce every time he gets in a championship match because he's going to lose. And then he loses by BS like he did here. That's just me.
There's more of an opportunity like going forward in the future for him to win a TBS or Atlantic at this point with that new extra title that could help. I mean, I don't think he's going to be at the main event level. I don't think AEW is going to book him at that main event level.
Hey, man, that Double or Nothing match with him and Pac and Omega was phenomenal. So I don't know if these is not like he may not get to that main event level, but I can't say
I
that
mean,
his
he had
talent's
good
not
matches. I
there.
mean,
And,
he had a good featured match with Jericho and the Orange.
I mean, Ospreay's match at Forbidden Door.
Yeah, which I didn't even see that match. I didn't watch Forbidden Door. I should have. I don't know why. But
Wayne, dude, just go right now and go watch it. It's that good.
But yeah. So this is a match I feel like that really did not really belong on the card, and you take this match out, then you're giving more
This title doesn't belong.
You're giving more match time to the championship match that should have garnished more time, and then of course a little bit more time to the other matches too.
Yeah.
Athena versus Serena Deeb versus Tony versus Britt Baker. We see Tony Storm retain. She's still your women's champion, but not for, Britt Baker. She's quite the workhorse, regardless of her head gets cut open, bloody nose, mouth. She just keeps going. And but post match, a bloodied Britt Baker attacks the champ, beats her down. So Tony Storm takes a beating there. Then we see Jamie Hayter, whom we thought Jamie Hayter was gonna turn against Britt Baker, but apparently not. We see Jamie Hayter charges down and pulls her away from Storm, locking eyes with the doctor. Right, so it looked like that they were gonna get into it.
Yeah.
And then they both attack Tony Storm together, and all is well in the Britt Baker camp.
For now.
For now. They're back together at the moment, like nothing even ever happened. And then an unfamiliar song hits. Out comes Saraya with a huge monster pop in Queens, New York. And let me tell you, that building was hot already. And it got hotter when Serena came out. Saraya.
Yeah, dude. It was a good debut. I'm intrigued.
Everybody
However,
backed out. The girls played Britt Baker, Hayter, Serena Deeb, all on the outside with their jaws dropped in shock. That's what's going on. Britt Baker rolled out of the ring as soon as Saraya was about to enter. And she just goes on and say, "This is my house." And then she's joined by her former buddies from WWE, Tony Storm and Athena. And we see Saraya stand tall, and apparently she's cleared to wrestle. I
thought she wasn't cleared.
Apparently, I think she is. I gotta see if you're going.
Okay, we might have got different reports because I heard.
We're gonna find out right now. I saw something really quick today.
I heard that she wasn't cleared. That's what I heard from good old Meltzer.
That's interesting. We're gonna look this up right now. Where are you? Chris Jericho? There we go. So he posted today.
Excuse me.
Something, and I hope I could find the article, but he posted an update today. Let me see. Where are you? Okay. Seemingly addresses report that. Okay, all right. So I'm mistaken. So Saraya seemingly addresses the report that she hasn't been medically cleared to wrestle. So that is the latest update, but that can change. And maybe she's going to be like a personality.
I mean, what's the point of bringing her in if she's not going to wrestle? I mean, that's just my opinion. Hey, I'm not like, and it's no offense to her, but she wasn't like the greatest character. Like I was more into her wrestling than I was, her on-screen personality. So, but that's just me. It'll be interesting to see if they do clear her or whatever.
So check this out. So a report by the Wrestling Observer newsletter caused concern amongst fans as it was claimed the new signing, who has multiple screws in her neck, of course they have to throw that in there. Actually, Jericho wrote this, hadn't medically been cleared to compete. Now, though, Saraya has seemingly disputed this by warning her fans on Twitter to ignore the dirt sheets clickbait. And then she says, "See you Wednesday." So Saraya hasn't wrestled since 2017. It was noted. by Jericho in this article. So we'll see. Yeah, sometimes you gotta, especially when it comes to Meltzer, you gotta take this with a grain of salt for sure.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah, he's kind of like 50-50 in his reports, to be honest with you. So that's happening. She got a big pop. This will be fresh and hopefully a burst for the women's division. Women's division, this AEW women's division, I don't believe gets enough credit it deserves. I mean, they did have the match of the year, in my opinion, at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas with Serena Deeb going against Thunder Rosa. That match tore the house down. So if anybody's talking about the AEW women's division being bad, just go back to that match. Maybe the booking sometimes is not great, or other things, or maybe they're not getting enough time. But other than that, they have a lot of talent there. But moving on, Jon Moxley defeats Bryan Danielson for the AEW Championship, which I honestly thought was probably going to go to Bryan Danielson. I had predicted Bryan Danielson to win. Apparently, I was wrong.
It's an interesting choice.
I thought that Jon Moxley was going to take some time off here.
Correct.
For a little bit. Good match. How did you feel about the match overall?
The match was great, and I think it was the highest rated one on the show, and well deserved. I mean, it was phenomenal. However, I'm in that company of it's not the bad decision. It just doesn't feel like the right one. I feel like we've seen Moxley again, and I think he is the face of AEW. So I'm not discrediting him for that. However, it's just company's been around for 3 years and he's already a 3-time champion. And Bryan is not bad. It's not like he's a bad champion, and the people want to see him. And I don't know. I think that you could have pulled the trigger here with Danielson and then had Mox get it back, at some other point. And then we do this. Well, you didn't watch Rampage last night, did you?
No.
Okay, so I won't spoil it, but
did you see how Dynamite went off the air?
I did, yeah.
Like it went off the air quick, and there was still like a story to be told there. But what happened is, and I sort of figured this was going to happen until I found out what really happened. But yeah, Daniel Bryan rips the title out of William Regal's hands, and then you see AEW Dynamite go off the air, and that's it. I'm like, what the heck? And then I realized they ran out of time because they're trying to jam too much in 2 hours.
Correct. And then you saw it doesn't even spoil
but
it,
apparently
there was 7 matches last night on Rampage. It's a little too much sometimes.
Honestly, fell asleep through half of the first. I didn't even get through the full hour. I got through 45-50 minutes of Rampage. So I gotta get on that. But it was late at night. It was 10-11. It was almost 11 o'clock. I was dozing off. I had just got.
Did you watch Action Bronson's match?
I did.
What do you think of him running the ropes? Dude's got some speed to him for as big as he is.
He was okay. He was okay for the first time being.
For sure. For only being, not being a wrestler.
He was okay. Not too sure if I'm a fan of his gimmick though.
Oh, I don't want to see him anymore. I just think it's impressive how fast he ran the ropes. Man, looked like I think they commented on how he looked like he was playing football or something. He's got a good first step.
Yeah, he was pretty impressive for the most part, but I don't want to see him again. I'm not a fan of his persona. I don't know. Something
That's
just
fair.
Wasn't clicking, to be honest.
That's fair.
But yeah, so that basically wraps up AEW. In closing here, AEW is just they gotta pace themselves better. They gotta pace their pay-per-views better. They gotta pace their shows better. Maybe get a second hour Rampage in would do wonders for them. This way they're not rushing.
Yeah, it actually wasn't terrible last night. I think it worked. I think they kind of tried to overstuff the card with too many high profile matches, which sounds like a dumb comment.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seemed like everything was up. This is important. This is important. You need some breather matches. But
Yeah.
2 hours did work. I thought it was good, and I think AEW is the kind of company that could use an extra hour, and WWE is the kind of company that could take away an hour, and it wouldn't be,
Yeah.
if you had 4 hours of each, like that's fine.
AEW is just trying to jam too much into a show, and you can tell, and they don't really need to because they have 3 months in between almost 3 months in between every pay-per-view. That they don't really need to jam so much, and another problem is that their roster is so huge.
Yeah, but they have these special like pay-per-view like shows, so it's like we don't need the 5-hour pay-per-views. If you're gonna be building up these Road Rager and Fighter Fest and the Quake at the Lake,
they really need to make the Clash of the Belts, what's it called, the Battle of the Belts.
Battle of the Belts, yeah.
They really need to make that more important of a show.
I know
they need to make that more.
I don't think they've had the AEW champion on it in the 3 years that they've done, or the 3 times that they've done it.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that, but I know that.
No, you're exactly right. They did. They had the first show was TBS. I think it was TNT title or something like that.
So yeah. It needs some more star power. You can if you're going to be promoting all these big events,
Yeah, because the Clash of the Champions when I was little was a huge thing.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, they did it when they did it
twice a year. So
yeah, it's I mean, both companies have their own problems. We're not bashing just AEW, but no, I agree with you. The pacing could be better.
So those of you guys that are watching,
my sniffling, man. I don't know what's going on.
Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed. If you guys are listening, make sure you search on YouTube, the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast. We are there. Hit that subscribe button, like and comment if you like what you're listening to. So be sure to subscribe. We're also on iTunes, Google, Spotify, and what have you. We're also on ProWrestlingTees.com. Make sure you get a t-shirt by searching for the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast, and you'll see our shirts in the black, gold, and navy blue. So make sure you guys get on that because that helps support the cost of the show every month.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I got. Episode 99 coming to you soon. I would say in a week or so, we'll have that information to you announced on our Twitter. Tommy, thank you so much for hopping on. Episode 98. We are to...
Hey, thanks, man. Yeah.
One more episode we have to finish before we get to episode 100, man. And
that's so weird to think.
I cannot wait. And I think we definitely we're going to have a guest for sure. So I cannot wait.
Gonna be bringing the heat.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Tommy, thank you so much. That is a wrap of covering AEW Grandslam Dynamite. We'll see what happens next week. Extreme Rules is in 2 weeks. We got a lot of stuff coming up. It's gonna be a very busy end of the year, and then before we know we're in WrestleMania season. I can't wait. But in the meantime, Tommy, you have an awesome day, and I will catch you guys all later. Let's go, Commanders.
Gosh.